Hi, it's Fabs and welcome back to A Fab Kitchen. Today we are starting a new series and we are testing and reviewing Cook, Eat, Repeat by Nigella Lawson, aka Munya's best friend. And if you don't know who Munya is, now you do.
Start by peeling back the packaging. It was 23 degrees on Tuesday, so I must admit it's not the first time I've got my bums out this week.
So the first recipe that we will be trying out is the no knead bread. So it's supposed to be like just a normal, simple, easy bread recipe. Last night I did prepare everything. I mixed all the ingredients together. So as you can see, I just chucked some strong white bread flour in a bowl with some fine sea salt and some instant yeast to mix it all together. Chuck some lemon juice into some water, some tap water, and I just mixed it all together and covered it, and that was it. So I think right now I've probably left it for around 17 hours. So it does say to leave it for 16 to 18 hours. So now all we have to do is flour up a surface, plunk it on. I have no idea how it's going to, like, it's very liquid. This is not the kind of like bread dough I'm used to, so I'm intrigued to see whether this actually turns out like bread. So yeah, we're just gonna flour a surface, plunk that on, and get some polenta all up in its business, but I'll show you more in a minute. Let's go. It does say to use a dough scraper. I don't have one. I'm just hoping this all comes out. You know what I do have? Well, actually, I think I'm gonna try this. I'm just gonna try a normal rubber spatula.
All I'm doing here is just scooping the outer edges of the dough and bringing it into form like a little dough ball, I guess, or a little circle. It didn't really work amazingly well just because of how sticky it was, and it honestly just really wanted to just sploot out into just a flat little circle. I did manage to get it into a kind of ball-like shape. So this is where the polenta gets all up in our business. So I've just got some polenta here, and in the book it does say to liberally apply some polenta to a cotton tea towel, and I honestly think I took liberally to a whole new level. I was way too generous with the polenta, but hey ho, it's gonna be fine. At least the dough didn't stick to the tea towel, and I guess that's the point of it. But yeah, don't be like me. Just liberally does not mean create a mountain of polenta, honestly.
Okay, it feels really nice. It kind of feels like sand. It's lovely.
Chuck the dough onto the polenta covered tea towel, tuck side down, sprinkle a little bit more polenta on top of it, and then fold over the corners of the tea towel.
Okay, now that's folded over, we are going to let it rest for another 1 hour. In the book it does say 1 to 2 hours, and she recommends 2 hours during winter and 1 hour during summer, but obviously it depends on your climate. But at the moment it's summer. I mean, it's not that great outside. Literally, we had the best weather, and now it's just like thunderstorms and raining, but it's still quite warm in our house. It's about 25 degrees, so I'm gonna leave it for just 1 hour. I will see you then.
45 minutes before your second rise is over, you're gonna stick your cast iron pan into a 250 degrees oven or a 230 degrees fan oven. I'm using a 3.5 litre cast iron pan.
The pan has been in the oven for around 45 minutes now, so we're just gonna pop that dough in. It's gonna get real messy. She legit says to have a handheld vacuum on hand, and I'm just like, how messy is this gonna get? I don't know how to do this. Oh gosh, that's messy. There's too much polenta in there. Oh gosh, let's hope this doesn't start a fire. And this is going in the oven for 30 minutes. Just look at all that mess.
Look at all those chickens.
Lord have mercy, literally. I could legit make my own island with all this polenta.
The following occurred in the 30 minutes that the bread was baking, and it was too funny to not put in the video.
Okay, Nigella literally said she likes to keep a handheld vacuum, and I thought, woman is joking. She's being a joker. You know how she likes to, you know, over exaggerate, you know. She was not in this sense. She really was not legit. Oh my gosh, there's so much. I literally have like a mountain of polenta right here. Oh my gosh, my feet are covered in polenta. Oh, my feet. Oh gosh. Oh, there's no point in me brushing my feet because I'm putting my feet back down in the polenta. And it's like, whilst you're at it, can you find me some prescription glasses? What's that? Excuse me.
Oh, you want to open it?
No, don't twist it back on.
Right.
No, it hurts my hands. I didn't want to open it.
Oh, well.
You just didn't tell me. You did not inform me we were having beer. Absolutely delightful.
After 30 minutes, I took the top of the cast iron pan off and it went back in for another 15 minutes. In the book, it does say it can go back in for another 15 to 30 minutes, but mine was like golden by 15 minutes. Although it was difficult to tell whether it was golden past that polenta.
Who can see whether it's golden past that polenta? Let me get a knife and scrape it away. Oh, here we go. Yes, it's ready. So I'm just gonna take this out of here and put it on a wire rack. And then I'm gonna cool it overnight actually. It says to make sure that it's cooled thoroughly. Otherwise, like when you cut into it, it's gonna go stale really quickly. And I don't want that. And there's no way I can finish this entire loaf in one sitting. So I'm just gonna leave it overnight and I'm gonna come back to it tomorrow morning for breakfast. That is day 2 over and done with. Realistically, it should only take 2 days, but I started the dough late last night, so I'm gonna have to wait until tomorrow for it to cool through the bread. But yes, so tomorrow we will be testing the bread in different forms to see whether it actually lives up to other bread. But anyway, I'll see you tomorrow. Morning has broken, so let's try this bread. We're going to try it out a few ways. So we're going to try the bread on its own just to see how it is. Then we're going to try it with a little bit of butter because, you know, bread will never taste as good as it does when it's with butter. Then we're going to try it out toasted with a few items on top. Okay. It looks nice and airy. There wasn't that crunch that you usually get with a nice crusty loaf. So it is quite soft and you can see that it just goes in. There is literally no kind of sound. But the inside is very promising. Just look at that. Look at all those air bubbles. It feels like a dense kind of bread. It doesn't feel like a light bread. But it feels like it has a spongy texture of, I would say, maybe rye bread. That kind of texture. It's not fluffy at all, but yeah, let's try it. Let's see how it smells first. You know, actually, I would say it doesn't have the texture of rye bread. It has the texture of sourdough. And you know what? It does smell quite like sourdough as well. And it has the same texture, but let's try it. There's so much polenta on it. I'm going to get this everywhere again. Literally, it was such a palaver trying to clean all this polenta up. Yeah. Okay, it's interesting. It definitely doesn't taste like normal bread. I mean, because it is the end, it is a bit dry. So let me just try another slice that isn't the end. Oh my gosh, there are ridiculous air bubbles in the air pockets. Like, literally, I can see through it. Let's try this now. It's definitely much denser than the average bread. I would say this is even denser than sourdough. Despite all the air pockets, it really is dense. I think the outer crust of it is very dry, doesn't have much flavour, but the inside of it is moist. Well, I know lots of people hate that word, apologies. But and it has a lot of flavour. It does have a lot of flavour, and it was surprising. It has more flavour than, you say, like a loaf of bread. You know, like a loaf of sliced bread. Much more flavour. But I'm just so surprised that the crust doesn't really have any. But I'm going to see how this tests with a little bit of butter. And you know, we all love clover, so let's get that on.
We all love clover. It's the way that it's churned.
Not sponsored.
Okay, here goes. It's lovely with the butter, but I think it is just butter and bread is a match made in heaven. And it's the flavour of the butter coming through. I would say it's a nice base for something more, but again, because it's so thin, like it hasn't risen much, and because it is like that, you can't really eat the bread without the crust, and the crust is really making it dry. It could be all this polenta, but I'm not sure it is. Now let's see how this tastes. It's come straight out of the toaster and I have immediately buttered it so it melts, and look at that gloriousness. Woo! Loudy loud. So I'm so excited for this. I feel like this would be amazing as toast. Why am I drooling so much? I feel like this would be so amazing as toast. Oh my gosh, this is my breakfast here. So once I'm done filming, you know, I'm gonna attack this bread. Anyway, let's try this. Did you hear that crunch? Let me come close here. Are you ready? Do you know what's so great about this? It's so, you know, you've got like loads of little air pockets. Some of them don't go all the way through. So the butter pulls in those little pockets, and when you bite into it, it's like, oh my goodness, it's so good, full of flavour. This is amazing as toast, so much better than just plain. I wouldn't say this bread is great as a sandwich, but wow, as toast, I would say just make this bread for the toast. My good. Next, we're going to try something a little different, a little bit more special. So we are going to prepare a lovely toast with a drizzle of extra virgin olive. There goes the toast, with some goat's cheese spread on top, a little bit of prosciutto and some rocket, and then a nice little drizzle of balsamic glaze.
And it's ready.
One of the messiest dishes, but really worth the mess. Literally, look at my hands. It's so good. This bread is definitely made for toasting slightly. I wouldn't toast it too much because it can be quite dangerous to your gums. But this is great. Let's go on to ratings. For taste, I am going to give this a 4 stars. Like, as lovely as this was toasted, bread really has to hold up on its own as well, and this is definitely not one that you can probably eat as a sandwich. It's just too dry. The outside of it is too dry. It's too dense as well to be eaten just as is, but it's wonderful as toast. But again, like I said before, make sure you don't toast it too much, otherwise you're gonna cut up those gums. It's crazy. In terms of ease of source, I'm gonna give this a 5 star because everything was so easy to find. You can just get it in any supermarket, literally. You could just hop around to the corner shop and you can get this as well. For difficulty, I'm gonna give this a 4 star because it was easy to make, but it does require quite a bit of planning, and it literally did take me 3 days, but that's my bad. So I think if you did plan ahead, it would have only taken you a couple days. But the reason why I deducted another half a star was because that polenta gets everywhere, and trying to like put it in the pan was really difficult. So I mean, that was a really difficult and messy step, and that's why I've taken half a point for that and then half a point for the times. But yeah, so 4-star for difficulty. So overall this recipe gets a 4.3 star. That's not a bad rating. So yeah, I'm hungry, I'm ready for breakfast, so I'm gonna munch this. But if you did like the look of the goat's cheese with prosciutto and the rocket bread ensemble, then I will be posting this on, I'm gonna say, Wednesday. I'm going to post this recipe on Wednesday or Thursday, so take a look on my Instagram for that. It's at a Fab Kitchen. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. But for now, peace. Everyone's gonna see the ashy feet.